Yo, it's your boy Logos. Today we're finally starting our forced diversity series, where we're going to talk about how Hollywood is trying to push diversity, but they're doing it in such a lazy way that you can clearly see what they're doing. It is not putting out good quality content. It's nothing more than tokenization and trying to fill in a quota, in my opinion. And this may sound a little weird, but today we're going to kick off this series with talking about the Northman. That may sound weird because The Northman is a movie that has absolutely zero diversity in terms of skin color. And that makes sense because it's based on Viking, Scandinavian history, mythology. So there's really no reason for anybody that is not European, right, Scandinavian to be in the movie. And I know that sounds weird to start off a series talking about diversity with a non-diverse film. But the point in doing that is because this film does exactly what I want Hollywood to do in their movies when they talk about diversity. Let's just talk about The Northman for a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I love this movie. I love the chances that it took with the story and the direction. The director, Robert Eggers, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Eggers or Eggers. He went a crazy, completely radical direction when he took this film. The story isn't afraid to be weird and is not afraid to be honest about the culture that it's talking about. And in my opinion, that's what I want with diversity. So the story of the movie is based around a boy who is the prince of a Scandinavian / Viking kingdom up near Norway, however long ago when Vikings was in their peak, or mostly around, raiding and doing stuff like that around Europe. So this boy, who is the main character, he is a prince and he's the heir to take over the kingdom once his father dies. So his father returns from a trip, probably on a raid or something, I can't remember. But the point is that his father returns and he gets some time with his father after not seeing him for 6 months to a year or so, for a very long time. And they have this nice moment and stuff. They have this dinner. His father tells him, this is your kingdom. After I pass on, it's going to be all yours. And the son, the main character, is very, grateful and respectful of his father. And you could tell he really adores and admires his father. The child actor or teenage actor they got to portray the main character in his youth was really good in terms of showing how much he looked up to his father. And it makes it really sad when you go further on into the story, because they go into a forest to just have some alone time because his father is a king and nobody can really touch him, or nobody's supposed to touch him, because if you try to touch him, that's automatic death. So to do so, nobody's really expecting it. So it's only the main character, the prince, and his father, the king. And they go out into this forest and they're just enjoying themselves in each other's company. And out of nowhere, you see this arrow go past the prince's head and it hits his father, the king, dead in the shoulder. And of course, the king, he pulls out his sword to defend himself. But they're getting attacked by at least 15 or 10 cavalrymen, men on horseback. So they have bow and arrows, they have swords, they have all types of weapons to deal with him. And the fact that it's just him and his son who really isn't trained, or he at least has no combat experience, he really is no match. So they slowly shoot him down with arrows to weaken him. I think he killed a couple of the people that were trying to kill him first, but they then just shoot him from afar and get him so weak that they can end up killing him. And the whole thing is the person who kills him is his brother, the prince's uncle. And the prince is actually able to flee before the other man goes to kill him too. But he's hidden behind a tree so you can see his uncle get off the horse and actually reveal his face under the hood. And he chops his father's heads off just like that. He just killed him like that in front of his nephew. But the uncle didn't know he was watching until he does it and the boy makes a sound and he escapes. So then you fast forward into the future, 20, I would say 20, maybe 15 or 20 years or so, because you jump into a point in the story where he already is a berserker. He's not training up to be one, because the whole point of the story is getting revenge on the uncle for killing his father. And from the moment that he escapes the people that his uncle sent after him in the forest to kill him after witnessing his father's death or murder, he says, "I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother, and I will kill you. I think it's Fafnir or something like that. It's not it's something that starts with an F. I'll say Fafnir for now, but I'm not even sure if that's correct because I know there is a dragon named Fafnir within the Norse mythology, but I'll just say Fafnir because that's what my memory is telling me right now. But the whole point of the story of the movie is to get revenge on the uncle for killing his father and to save his mother, who he believes is being held captive by his uncle now and forced to either marry him or she's dead already, but he doesn't know. It doesn't even matter to him. And I love that about the story because it's so simple, but it is so rich in like lore and like mythology, and it's rich in being dedicated to the culture that they're talking about. They're not shying away from the good stuff, the bad stuff, or the weird stuff. And I say that within the context of a modern viewing audience seeing it, because to the people at the time where this actual movie was taking place, any rituals or any warfare or raiding or any killing or stuff like that, that's not seen as weird. That's just seen as normal and part of the culture. And I really appreciate Robert Eggers and the writers taking the time to actually go into that mythology and being honest about it. They didn't water it down because it seemed weird or savage or barbarian. They said, this is what it is. This is the story, and you finna go through the route of the story. And I really love that they was so confident and give it to us in the non-watered down version, because that's what I want in my films. I don't care about checking off quotas for having one of each race or ethnic group or this and the other. I really care about quality, and you don't need to have one of each person in each movie to have diversity. Diversity can be as simple as putting a highlight or putting a spotlight on a different culture or a different people or a different story that we never got before. And that's why I chose the Northman for this first video, because as the story goes on, you really see his dedication to the revenge for what he saw as a child. You see all the stuff he's willing to go through and all the stuff he believes in within his life. There's one scene that is honestly, well, actually there's multiple scenes that are weird. The first one is when he's older and he goes to like this, I don't know how to describe it, honestly. I would say let's just say this building in the city or town he lives in, and there's like a mystic, you could say, who gives like prophecies and stuff like that. And for him to actually get the prophecy, the mystic or the priest has to hold a head of a dead man who I believe from memory was the last priest before him. So he's holding like this nasty withered head that is, it's not decayed, but the skin is clearly old. It's dried out, it's gray and stuff like that. And they put like, I think minerals or rocks in his eyes. And I assume that has something to do with the divination of knowing the future. And I really appreciate that they didn't try to cut that out. They didn't feel like it wasn't necessary. I'm glad they showed that it was necessary and how it matters to the character, and how no matter what other people may tell him about the fate of what he's going down, he's still going to keep doing it anyway because he's so focused on his revenge. I know like part of the subplot of the movie is fighting your fate or choosing your fate, and he chooses to go out by killing this man, his uncle, who murdered his father and then took his kingdom from him. And as you go through the film, you see like that's another thing too. The movie isn't just all warfare and this and the other. They show different aspects of the culture from different races. Like I always say about the religious thing with the prophecies, that's akin to Greek mythology and Greek ancient religion when they had the Greek gods and stuff like that in Greek mythology, how they had the Delphi oracle, and she was said to give out prophecies. Honestly, that's related to 300. And when I think of this movie, I think of 300 a lot. All the testosterone, how they're not afraid to be weird, or how they're not afraid to have some style to it. And it's still like a really good experience to watch. But in 300 too, they have, their priests and their oracle. Yeah, that's what they call it, Greek. They have their oracle who tells them what's going to happen. And that's what leads to Leonidas deciding to go with his 300 Spartans and other Greek allies. They don't tell you really that much in the film, but other Greek allies defend Thermopylae. And the priest says, or the oracle says, like, you will have to die to save Greece or something akin to that. Of course, I'm oversimplifying it. But both of these movies, who I very much love and care about in terms of like their artistic style, They're not afraid to push the envelope or to go a certain direction because they have a vision. And that's what I want in future movies and future films. I want these directors and Hollywood in general to not be afraid to go a specific direction because they're so worried about money. I understand that the Northman didn't sell that well in theaters, but who knows how good the marketing campaign was. Because honestly, I don't watch TV no more unless it's sports, so I really don't know about trailers and how they pop up on TV and how often they showed it off. But one thing I can say is once you watch a trailer and you like see how far they go and you see all the stuff that you have waiting for you once you go into that theater, I feel like it is a very entrapping trailer once you find it on YouTube. Honestly, before I decided to do this recording, I started to go back and watch some of my favorite scenes again, just so I can have a refresh on all the stuff that I loved about the film, because it is very, very weird. They're not afraid to go places that other films nowadays don't go. Especially, like superhero movies nowadays. I love superhero movies up until Avengers Endgame. Now after that, I feel like they have no direction, and it feels like to me they care more about putting out a political message than actually trying to make good cinema or a good product or good art. When I think of the Northman, I think of weird art and a movie form, because you're really getting this amazing story of this guy seeing this horrible thing and getting revenge and only being set on revenge for the rest of his life and giving up his life to get that revenge. I'll just skip to the end and say he does end up dying, but he dies killing his uncle, so he does get revenge for his uncle killing his father. Another thing they put in the film is it turns out that it was a mother who betrayed him and his father and led to the uncle killing the father and taking over the kingdom. He finds that out, and from my memory, I believe he actually kills his mom or something once he finds out, because she confesses it and he confronts her about it, and that it destroys him, understandably. And I appreciate them showing that too, like they giving this hard-nosed, rugged warrior all this like showtime of showing how good his skills are in combat and how dedicated he is. But when he finds out his one mission to save the person who is still alive from his childhood, it like destroys someone. He finds out she's the one that caused all his pain and suffering all his life, or what caused him to go down this path. And I appreciate them doing that. They're not afraid to, show a character in the bad light or a female character in the bad light for the sake of the story. The story is really, really good, and it really takes a lot of chances and is not afraid to go certain places that other films don't go. I know I said that a few times, but that's what really stands out to me. The film is unapologetic about the culture that it decides to represent. And in my opinion, diversity is deeper than just having people of every skin color or every religion or every ethnic group in a movie or a TV show. To be honest, it's about having a good story. I'm perfectly happy with them having people of multiple races in media, but it needs to make sense within the story. And the whole point of me talking about the Northman today is because this is the type of media that I want Hollywood to start making. I don't want just a quota or a checkbox filled for people who look like me or people who don't look like me. I want good stories about different cultures. I want good stories about different peoples from different places. What's the point of you saying you have diversity if the movie sucks? What's the point of saying you have diversity if the TV show doesn't have a cohesive story and I don't give a damn about the diverse roles of the actors you have chosen? Like, I couldn't care less if the movie sucks or the TV show sucks or the story sucks. You need to focus on the writing first and then make sure it makes sense before you worry about anything else, because I'm not going to pay the money to see it no matter who you put in it if it's not good. And the determination on how good it is down to the writing and the directing and the acting. Nobody wants to just go and waste their time for hours on end to watch a show just because you have people with different colors in it. That's a waste of my time. The House of the Dragon, they did the little diversity thing a bit, but at least they kept the writing and direction where it made sense. And they had a hard time doing it because of the time skills, but they still pulled it off a lot better than Rings of Power did. I couldn't even put myself down to watch the show because after it did come out, I'm just seeing so many bad things about the story and the writing and how the shit doesn't make sense. I really don't want to invest my time in it because honestly, I really don't care for television like I used to when I was younger. I'd rather spend my days now on content that actually has effort and the viewers' thoughts and interests in mind. I don't need you to preach to me about your political views or your social views within your movies or TV shows. I couldn't give a fuck about how you feel about that shit. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be entertained, and I'm here to know or learn about a good story. All that other stuff is just window dressing. It's a waste of my time. The Northman doesn't focus on that stuff. They just have a good story, and they want you to experience the story, and they're going to let you experience in all its raw and weirdest forms. And the berserker scene, when they all on the bonfire and they're like chanting and they're like howling and they're like going crazy and stuff to get themselves in a rage to get ready for the battle next morning. That shit was weird, but that shit was also amazing because you never see stuff like that. You never see actual historical groups of warriors or people being honest about who they were in film. It's always some watered down BS or something that was edited to fit somebody's creative vision, but the vision isn't as good or what we wanted compared to the actual real life thing. And that what makes the Northman so special. These other Hollywood companies that make these movies need to learn from the people that put out the Northman and see you don't need to just have people look different to be diverse. You need to have stories be diverse. You need to have villains be diverse in terms of their motives, their actions, what they're doing, and why should I care about them? It doesn't matter to me if your character is black or white or Spanish, gay, bi, or anything else. If the character is not compelling, I will not give a shit. You can go and do your press conferences. You can do your interviews with your little magazines. You can go on Entertainment Tonight. You can do all that shit you want. I don't give a damn about how they look or their sexuality or their gender if the character sucks. That's all that matters. Make the writing good. Make the story good. Make the setting fit within the story. Stop trying to put a political message in every single thing that you're putting out now, Hollywood. Just make good content. If there is a story within it, let it be natural. I don't need you to tell me this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. I need you to make a good story. And if you write a good character, I can have empathy for the damn character. And I can see why this stuff is bad because the character is experiencing the consequences of these bad thoughts or bad intentions or actions that they're experiencing by the people in power around them. You don't have to force that shit down my throat by saying this is bad, and here is why. I don't need you to do that. That's not your job. You're not my parent. You're nothing besides somebody that's supposed to put out content and entertain me. So focus on doing that, Hollywood, and stop worrying about trying to put out your political messages. The Northman focused on a good story, no matter how weird or crazy it might have seemed. And it worked. I wish more people would have went out and seen it so we can get more movies like that. But damn it, I think it's close to 300. It's like a Viking 300 almost to me, but with a higher budget and directing quality. And hopefully we get more of that because I would love to have a Shogun remake and movie and TV series again. I would love to see ancient Mesopotamian, ancient African, ancient Egyptian, ancient Mayan. I want to see all these cultures in their ancient forms on media, and a compelling story and a compelling character and a compelling culture behind it. Stop trying to fill in diversity through quotas to get money. Actually put in the damn effort that you claim to care about for the people that you claim to care about, but you don't. You just want the money and the quota filled. But that's not going to work on me or people like me. We want good quality content, not BS just for the sake of BS. It's more insulting that way, honestly. We know what you're capable of when you give a damn. The Little Mermaid is nothing but a hand-me-down movie, in my opinion. But I'm going to go into that movie in another episode. But for now, let's just check out the Northman again and appreciate the greatness that Robert Eggers and his cast was able to give to us. It's your boy Logos. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below, anything you want to talk about or anything you want me to talk about. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.